guys, crew? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Ryan. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button. It really helps out. But I'm super hyped. It's track day, baby. We're on the way to Rockingham Speedway. It's an oval track, but they convert it to a road course. And this is a new track for Paul and I. So Paul in his 2008 Mustang GT, he's in tow behind me. It's our first time at this racetrack. So I'm not exactly sure how they got it configured, because they actually do several. So they use part of the banking, and I don't know if they'll use the infill today or if they've just painted some of the actual backstretch. Not sure. That's to be determined. But brand new racetrack, cars all prepped, ready to go. It's round 2. If you'll remember, we went to Carolina Motorsports Park a while back, and Paul bested me. I mean, he was running circles around me on the track, so got to step my game up today, so we'll see if I can hang with him. But beautiful day. I'm just vibing out, listening to some good tunes on the way, and we'll update you when we get to the track. Officially made it to Rockingham Speedway, so it's actually a little different than I originally thought. So the Speedway is actually behind camera, like the actual oval track, but then kind of laid out in front of us here, it's like a mini track, but it does have banking, maybe not quite as steep as the NASCAR oval, but it does have banking on each ends, and it looks like they got maybe cones set up to kind of weave in and out of, but it looks pretty tricky. So I'm kind of excited. I didn't really know what to expect, but yeah, you hear tires squealing in the background, so that's a good sign. So it feels like this bank over here at the end, we should be able to hit with some speed, because if you notice, as cars are approaching, you're not getting much brake light at all. Like, it seems like they're just maybe coasting into it and riding the bank. So I know when we went to Carolina Motorsports Park, we were pretty much able to run the track the entire time in 3rd gear. I don't think that's gonna be the case here. It looks like we're actually gonna have to do a little bit more shifting, so I gotta make sure I'm mentally prepared for that, to be able to throw some downshifts in and send it into this corner over here. So I feel like we're in better shape this go around. Doesn't feel as rushed, and we're able to actually get everything set up. So we got both cameras set up. Paul's is good to go, and he actually has got a microphone this time, so if we can get some better audio. Hopefully. So we've just checked all the lug nuts, make sure we don't lose any wheels today. We're gonna let the car still cool off a little bit just before we drop the air pressures, but that's something we definitely want to do before we get out on track. But otherwise, it looks like we're sitting pretty, just kind of waiting for tech inspection, and then they give us the green light. We get to jump on track and see how we do. Best case scenario, we actually have the time to kind of scout out some of the cars on track at the moment. So we're just gonna pick one, follow one, and kind of get an idea in our heads of the course layout. I'm curious to see what kind of speeds we'll see, just because because of all the S's and the little chicane or little cut through, doesn't look like we'll get up to too much speed. Maybe the top of 2nd going into 3rd at the end.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably somewhere low, middle, 3rd at most.
Just got teched in, easiest tech ever. That was 30 seconds. They basically looked at the tires and that was about it. So Paul's still getting teched right now. I'm going to go ahead and check on my air pressures. And one tip that I actually learned from our previous track day is you're gonna be checking tire pressure so much, remove the valve stem caps and just leave them off for the day, just because every time you get off track, you'll probably want to check them. So it just gets to be a pain in the butt taking them on and off. it through the driver's meeting, survived that. They kind of went over, you know, basics, track etiquette, just flags, that kind of stuff. So we've been paired up, but now it's kind of a waiting game. So we're the third session up, but we're gonna get to know our instructors a little bit, and just kind of, they're gonna ride with us, I guess, all day, which to me, I prefer that, just so that way I can learn the track, and I feel like I'll progress more with an instructor than I will trying to figure out the track by myself. So I'm hyped to meet my instructor, see how he does, and get on the track. So just to make sure, there's only one pass by section on this whole track.
Before the end of these tires, but I think by the second
really
one,
need
you
to
should really know what you're going to do.
Okay.
And then hang to the left, pass
Point by
on
the
right
right,
with
yeah.
a very exaggerated.
Make sure you're playing
Fish
charades. Yeah. Okay. This almost feels like this should have been our first track day instead of going straight to CMP. This feels kind of more like get your feet wet and then move on, progress to a bigger track. But any track time is better than nothing. We're constantly, every time you get behind the wheel, you're progressing your skills.
Yeah, if anything, that should make this track day maybe a little bit less of a novice experience, more polishing some of the initial skills that you picked up when you first go around.
Yeah, or for me, just kind of, I don't know, the last one didn't go so well, so we'll see how this one goes.
It's only one passing zone this time, though, so
Oh, that's true.
yeah, you get past maybe only one time per lap.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because I know they say don't get nervous with somebody up your butt, you know, looking in the rearview mirror, but it's hard not to. So at least at this point, I can just ignore until we get to this last corner, and then I can glance in the rearview and be like, oh, okay, I need to let you go by. But I don't know. I'm going to do my best to stay in front of Paul, or if he's in front of me, try to keep up with him. We'll see. Yeah. I'm not betting you this go around, though. I know better.
This track is the fact that it is shorter. There are fewer sections, so there's, I think, less of an urgency to try and memorize each section.
Okay.
I think the sections here are more manageable, and it's easier to kind of know, like, okay, you know, this entire section of S's, it's the same technique.
Right, that's true.
And then, you know, heading into the bank here, you know, turn in, smooth inputs. Biggest thing for me was I need to smooth my inputs a little bit. And, you know, part of it, and he had mentioned it when I was stuck behind the Cadillac, was that, you know, the fact that I'm having to ride them so hard,
Right.
I'm having to kind of be a little more jerky on my throttle inputs because I'm about running them over.
Okay.
Next couple of sessions, I think I'll really be able to dial it in. The other challenge, I guess, with the shorter track is that you have people on there with you closer, and the fact that there's only one passing zone, so sometimes you just have to deal with a slower driver in front of you. But
Not mentioning any names.
I struggle so much with learning the track. That's my biggest problem, is trying to figure out exactly where to go, because I get lost. I'm not the best with directions anyway, and without like because this is kind of like a makeshift course, it makes it very difficult to see the cones and where exactly I'm supposed to go. But otherwise, I'm pushing the car nowhere near the limits. I mean, like, I'm not even getting any tire squeals. So my thing is figure out the track. I mean, by the time you start learning it, I mean, that session goes by so fast. So, but it went good. The guy that I'm actually riding with, he actually had a 350Z as well. So he kind of can relate to the chassis and give me some good pointers on, you know, what the car is capable of, because we had very similar setups. So far so good. I'm loving it. It's a fun track, but it is a lot shorter and there's a lot more turn in. So having to really work my brakes, figure out when my braking zones are, and then when to get on throttle. My problem last go around at CMP, I really wanted to be choppy with the throttle, and unfortunately having that same problem here. So I'm really trying to focus on making sure that I'm rolling into the throttle instead of punching it. I don't know why I want to do that, but it's just, that makes it, that upsets the car a lot, and so I gotta really figure that out. But otherwise, so far so good. That's one session down. I think we have 3 more to go, maybe 4 more to go. So he said he was gonna try to get me as much track time as possible.
It's going to be, that's a long stop that to do it that way, but so I'm very little on the brakes at all through that.
turn.
Better every time.
Yeah.
The judges released me out on bond, so I'm solo.
So you're solo. Okay. All right. We'll see how these go.
He says he's going to take lessons from me on that.
Are you nervous about it, or you like feel comfortable enough to? Yeah.
If anything, he told me to slow down a couple of spots.
Okay.
And that's where, like, the last 2 laps, I got that first, coming into the first straight.
Yeah.
I got that nailed down pat.
Yep.
It felt so good.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, you can definitely see the comfort, like, levels growing and, like, your confidence growing. So I think that's pretty neat to see.
I can feel the adrenaline, too.
Yeah.
It feels good.
And he came in, and we were talking about him spinning out. And as we're talking about him spinning out, you went snaking through the curve, and I was like, Shelby went and grabbed the handlebars.
We were learning the limits of the car.
Well, I was so disappointed because I missed it because I was like walking to the corner and I just heard the Z is like sideways or whatever, and I'm like, crap.
We were trying our best to save it. It was close. We went one way and then back to the other.
Yeah.
Lap, well, because were you just warming your tires up and kind of scrubbing? Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I figured, but I was like, I was on you, but I was like, he ain't pushing it whatsoever. So.
What is it? The start of the 3rd lap, I think I finally.
I think so, because I kept up with you the first 2. Second one, I feel like you pick your pace up a lot.
Yeah.
But then the 3rd go round, yeah, that's when you started making moves on me, and I was like, well, I'm gonna stop stop fighting and just let it be. From last go round to this go round, I can feel like my confidence building a lot. Like, I feel like this would have definitely, like we were talking about earlier before we started, this would have been the one to do, because I feel like by the time I would have got to CMP, my like skills or confidence level would have been a whole lot higher.
Yeah.
So, because I was so timid the entire first track day, but like here, it's because it is smaller. I ran the whole track in second. Because
yeah.
I mean, I rev out to $8 grand, I think, something like that. So, but I'm not really I'm not really hitting that until like right down here. So I mean, potentially, okay, I might should have shifted up to third, but because you're coasting and hitting that bank, I'm riding the whole thing in second, and that's helping me because that was a big problem I had before, was like very choppy on throttle. But because if you're in, you know, I'm more in the power band, so if I chop it this go around, it upsets the car a lot more because it unsettles it. So yeah, being in second has helped me.
Are you having to brake coming into this first bank turn?
No.
See, I'm having to brake.
Oh, well, you're a lot faster than me, so that makes more sense. But because I'm revving it out and then I just kind of coast into it.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, yeah, like I'm getting the hang of it and actually feeling, okay, this is what the car's capable of. I found the limit down there in that corner where it's pushed a little too hard, but it's learning. That's the biggest thing too. These track days is just learning and getting the seat time to progress.
And the good thing is that when we're finding the limits, we got plenty of runoff. Like there's no concrete wall or anything to hit or trees.
Haven't actually picked the camera up in a while, but there was an accident out on track. I think somebody just broke. It wasn't necessarily because they've hit anything, but we're losing daylight, so we got one more session to go. I'm pumped. I've done really well today. Like my skill level, I can tell, has gone up tremendously. So like I was telling Paul earlier, yeah, I definitely should have done a track event like this first, because I think that would have translated, I would have been able to roll that confidence into not a real track day, because I mean, anytime you're on track, that's a real track day, but to a bigger track. survived.
That was intense.
I gave you a little run for your money finally.
Yeah.
I was keeping up with you. Like,
I'll admit it, yeah.
my confidence level this time has skyrocketed. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure I got the scuff marks to prove it, but I know I've hit some things.
You know you've hit some things.
But man, you're fast. Paul's no joke, for
Yup.
real. Like, I don't know, I was doing my best to like follow your lines and stuff, and like, I'm really pushing to keep up with you. Like, probably, and I don't know, I kind of like the competition just because I feel like that puts me out of my comfort zone because I'm trying my best to like hang with you. So I don't know if you saw, but like I was able to, I mean, that thing was sideways a few times, like coming out of this bus stop. Oh man, I was like sideways, then this sideways, but I was trying my best to hang with you.
Hey, you did a lot better from like first session, last time we were out the track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they've signed you off, like you only did 2 sessions with them guys,
Yeah.
and then then you're solo. So Paul's definitely the man. For real, but oh my god, it's so much fun.
It felt so much more like elevated, like speed and like whatever wise, because you had the intermediates and the novices together. So like I feel like everybody was like, the novices were kind of being pushed by the level of all the intermediate people. So I mean, like the level of competition and the level of like people pushing it was like way more than I feel like it
Which
had
makes
been.
sense because there was I think it was a white or silver FRS BRZ 86
Yep.
on track, and I was following him, and I mean, like, obviously you could tell there's a power difference because I mean, like, I could catch him like through the straights and everything, but I was trying to follow his line, so that would make more sense because he seemed to kind of know what he was doing. Yep. And but I was like so excited that I finally passed him. You know, he gave me that wave bar or whatever, and I was like, yes, I did something. Oh, you did? Yes. Yeah, I did something. So 2 track days now, and I've at least passed one person. I don't know if I think that was my first pass by, but it always, hey, right here at the end of the day, like, adrenaline is sky high, just loving it. Amazing, we did it. How are you feeling, Paul? How are you feeling?
This is like my zen. It feels so right in like every possible way. It really does.
Well, and like, I don't know, and I think we've said this before, but it's just so satisfying when like you hit the corner or something like just very smooth and very fluid. The feeling's unreal.
Yeah.
So, and to keep up with other cars that are kind of out of your category, like, that's awesome too.
And you know, it probably looks entirely different from behind the wheel. Like, I feel like a professional race car driver, but then, you know, watching the footage back from like the outside, it probably looks like nothing. But it's an incredible feeling.
Absolutely. Seems like the car held up well. I've kind of checked over everything because we're about to make the journey home. So we got about a 2-hour ride ahead of us, but such a blast. I can't stress that enough. It's just so much fun. So I'm proud of myself, proud of the car. My skill level, although still very, very novice, you just incrementally get better each time you do this. Well, Paul, we survived yet another track day, and we're kind of at the end of the season, so there's really not much I want to do over, like, I guess winter to the car. It's pretty stout as is. It's the driver mod that needs help, but what about you?
I'm gonna do a little bit of weight reduction on the driver's side of things, and probably take a look at rebuilding the rear end on there. I've been wanting to do that anyways. And
Oh, you said it had some chatter or some noise to it anyway? So.
Yeah, just address a few of the wear items on there, and you know, otherwise, we can't wait for it to warm up again and really get at it.
Get some more seat time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of slower cars out there. We were keeping up with, you know, Shelbys, and I don't know if we were really keeping up with the Corvettes. Those were kind of
they were on a different level.
But yeah, the driver mod definitely makes the biggest difference. Because you really have to be able to tap into your car's true abilities, and you know, a lot of that you're afraid to explore until you get out to these things and, you know, really get the seat time in.
Yep, and I'm nowhere close, so I got a long way to go.
Hey, you're getting there.
Yeah. Little, you know, baby steps. So we really thank you all for watching. If you will, subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you in the next one.